the Always Believe house. Oh, tomorrow you take your second test in the 6 weeks. It is basically going to be about finding zeros, okay? How do you get the zero of the quadratic equation? Oh, we're going to go over all those today. Quick review, it's going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Ha, ha, ha. So a magical whiteboard appears, and let's start rocking and rolling. Oh, okay. The first way you figured out how to get these zeros is by factoring. The first few problems are going to be able to factor it. I'm not going to do all of these for you, okay? So let's do the first problem. We're going to draw two parentheses equals 0. My first terms will be x and x. This plus drops. The factors of 5 that subtracting give me 4 are 5 and 1, don't we? So we put the 5 first, and then the minus 1's going to go here, aren't they? 5 minus 1's 4 in it. Now then, these are the factors. The zeros are the opposites, right? So the zeros are going to be negative 5 and 1. That's where the parabola will cross the x-axis. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you have not done the problems I've given you. You got to keep doing these problems. This is all brand new. If you're not doing the problems I'm giving you, you will not succeed, okay? You got to go back and redo these lessons. This was from like 2 weeks ago. This was a long time ago when we factored and got the zeros. Okay, I'm going to do one more for you. Let's do number 7. Or let's do number, I'll do 7 and 8 with you. On number 7, draw the parentheses, equals 0. The first term will be x and x. Okay, I kept these pretty easy for you. I didn't put a number in front of the x squared. The factors of 42 are 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, and 6 and 7. I want to add and get 13, so the 6 and 7 is going to work in it. You should be able to get those pretty quick now. The minus drops. You put the big factor first. So negative 7 minus 6 is going to give you my negative 13. It's going to be a minus 6. These are your factors. The zeros are the opposites. So x equal the opposite of a negative 7 is positive 7. And the opposite of a negative 6 is a positive 6. This parabola will cross the x-axis at 7 and 6. Okay? Let's do number 8. On number 8, we could factor out a GCF. So I'm going to factor out a p and just divide. I'll get p plus 6, won't I? These are my factors. So the zeros would be 0 and negative 6. Okay? If I take out my p, if I do this, p equals 0, p plus 6 equals 0, that's basically what you're doing. You're setting each factor equal to 0 and solving for the letter. Okay? Piece of cake. If there's no c term, notice on this right here, c is equal to 0 in it. That means the parabola will go through the origin, which is going to be a 0 in it. So if c is equal to 0, 0 will be the y-intercept, and it's also going to be a 0 or a root. Now then on 9 through 16, there's no bx term. If there's no bx term, you can get the answers with square roots. Okay, you just get the square root of the answer. For instance, on this one, I'm going to move over the 9. I'll have 2n squared equals, this will be 14, divide by 2, divide by 2. I'll get n squared equals to 7. I'm going to square root both sides, and then I'm going to write down n equals plus or minus the square root of 7. Now then, we can do this and get, let's hit Control X squared, and then type in 7. Hit enter, and it's 2.65, right? I'm going to round the 4 up to 5. So 2.65, the answer is going to equal n plus or minus the square root, 2.65. Those are the decimal values of where the parabola would cross the x-axis, okay? Do one more with you. Let's do 15. I'm going to move over the 9, so I'll have 100 p squared equals 49. Divide by 100, I'll get p squared equals 49 over 100. Don't freak out with the fraction here. Now then, let's just do this on a calculator. We're going to get the square root of 49 over 100, okay? So type in Control X squared, hit Control Divide. and then type in 49, hit down, and hit 100. I got to get 49 up here. 49, down, then hit the 100. Now think about this. What's the square root of 49? It's 7 in it. What's the square root of 100? It's 10. This is going to be 7 over 10 or 0.7. Okay? So hit enter, and it's 7 over 10 in it. So let's go back over here. Technically what's happened, this would turn into the square root of 49 over the square root of 100. You would just get the square root of the numerator and the square root of the denominator. So don't panic if it's a fraction, okay? So this is going to turn into plus or minus 7 over 10. That's going to be the zeros, okay? So to get the answers on these, you're just going to get the x squared term all by itself and square root it. And then write the answer with a plus or minus in front of it. Continuing on. 17 to 24, you got to be able to complete the square, okay? At least show the steps, okay? Most of these problems won't factor, so you got to do it by completing the square. So on 17, I'm going to do 2 of these with you. We're going to move over the 12, so x squared minus 8x blank equals negative 12 blank. And then remember, we need to get this term to complete the square. We're going to take the 8, divide it by 2, and get 4, and then 4 squared, right? So 8 divided by 2 is 4, even if it's a negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is going to be a plus 16 in it. So on both sides, we're going to add 16. Now then, this turns into a perfect square. So the square root of x squared is x, and when we divided by 2, we got the negative 4, didn't we? That's going to be the same number that goes here, okay? The square root of 16 is 4. You just put minus 4 down here. So whatever you get when you divide by 2, this number right here is going to go in that parentheses. Then equals negative 12 plus 16 is 4 in it. Now then, I'm going to square root both sides, and I'll get x minus 4 equals plus or minus 2. Then I move over the 4. 4 plus or minus 2, those are my 2 answers. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Those are my zeros, okay? Do one more with you. Let's do number 19. Let's see on 19. I don't think it won't be a perfect square. So we're going to take the 73, move it across. I'm going to write down r squared plus 14r blank equals 73 blank. I'm going to take the 14, divide it by 2 and get 7, and I'm going to square, right? 7 times 7 is 49. So I'm going to add 49 to both sides. Okay. Now then, this over here is a perfect square. It's going to be r, and this number will go right here every time. Okay. Then this will be squared equals 73 plus 49 is 2. Here's the 1. 122. Let me make sure that's right. 73 plus 49. It's, not 73 times 49, 73 plus 49 is 122. This is not a perfect square, is it? So it's going to be 122, and then we're going to square root both sides, aren't we? Correct? We'll get r plus 7 equals plus or minus the square root of 122, and then we're going to move over the 7. So I'll get negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 122. Then you're going to type this in and get the 2 decimals, okay? So negative 7 plus control x squared 122, hit enter, and I get 4.04, and the 4 is going to round to 5, right? So 4.05, 4.05, and then we're going to type in negative 7 minus the square root, control x squared 122, hit enter, and I get negative 18.05. Negative 18.05. Negative 18.05. And those are my 2 zeros, right? Remember, if the square root won't work, the problem will not factor. This is also the same exact answer I would get with the quadratic formula. Same exact answer I would get with the quadratic formula, okay? And lastly, keep going down. We're going to do what we learned to do yesterday. We're going to get the quadratic formula, right? I'm going to do 2 of them with you. Let's do number 25 because there's no b. Notice also, real nice, I gave these to you all in standard form. Okay? So number 25, there is no bx term, is there? Okay, there's no bx term. That means the problem won't go left or right. The vertex will be on the y-axis, okay? So A is equal to 3, B is equal to 0, and C is equal to 9. I'm going to write down B squared minus 4AC. I'm going to plug in 0 squared minus 4 times 3 times 9. 0 times 0 is 0, so 0 minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 9 is 108. So this is going to equal to negative 108, isn't it? Now then, the discriminant is negative, isn't it? If the discriminant is negative, there is no solution. Okay? There's no solution to this, is it? Because the discriminant's negative, I stop. Okay? Let's go to number 27. Okay, write down A equals 4, B equals 9, C equals negative 4. Then write down B squared minus 4AC, and we're going to get the discriminant, right? So the discriminant's going to be 9 squared minus 4 times negative 4. I'll get 81. 2 negatives make a positive, and 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And this is going to add up to 145. That's my discriminant, right? The discriminant's positive. I'm going to get 2 zeros, aren't I? Now that I'm going to write down negative b plus or minus the square root of 145 all over 2a. My b is 9, so negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 145 all over 2 times 4. This is going to turn into negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 145 over 8. And now that I'm going to type this in twice and get my 2 zeros. Got to kind of write small here, okay? So negative 9, hit control divide. Then type in negative 9 plus control x squared, 145. Hit the down button, and it's all over 8. All over 8. Hit enter, and 0.38. That's one of my zeros. So 0.38, and go back, hit control divide. Negative 9 minus control x squared, 145. Hit the down button 8. Now that we're doing one with add, one subtract, I get negative 2.63. So negative 2.63. That's my other root in it, or my other zero. You got to repeat the process. Now then, please listen. Go through, do the evens. Okay? Go through, do the evens. I'll post the key. Okay? So you could go back, see if you're getting these answers. The test is basically going to be getting the zeros. Also remember, let me get this stopped. Also remember, to get the zeros, I can graph every single one of these. You got to put it in standard form. You can graph every single one of them and trace to the zeros. If you're really confused, you need to be able to do that. Please listen to me. If this is overwhelming, you really got to be thinking about going into pre-AP next year. You've got to be able to do this stuff to succeed in pre-AP. This is a big part of your calculus here, okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful day. You're going to do great on your test tomorrow. You are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.